You want to practice the guitar, but you don't have hours each day. In this video I will show you how to get the most out of your practice time. I like practicing the guitar, but I also like knowing I'm spending my time effectively. So I watched several podcasts by famous neuroscientist Andrew Huberman on how to learn faster, and this is what I picked up. You may have heard of the 10,000 hour rule, which basically says that if you put 10,000 hours of practice into a skill, you become an expert at it. Now, putting in the time is definitely important, but there's more to it. Learning any skill happens in two stages. 1. Active engagement and focus. And 2. Deep sleep, or states of deep rest. Let's break that down, because understanding it changes the way you approach practice. The key idea here is that the greater your focus, the greater the release of neurotransmitters that trigger learning. That's why 30 minutes of focus practice, knowing exactly what you're working on and why, beats 2 hours of noodling. Now, this practice doesn't have to be perfect, just engaged and focused. Struggling and making mistakes is normal and part of the learning process. Be aware and present while practicing. Have a specific goal. Instead of saying, I want to learn the song, have a goal like, today I want to memorize the intro, or play the first 4 bars of the verse at 100 beats per minute. Short focus sessions beat longer unfocused ones. And if you can play for longer, take a 5-minute break every 25 minutes. Sometimes when you think too much, then mistakes happen. Sometimes we tend to stare at our hands, for example, focusing on each and every note. But try staring at the wall while playing and not look at your hands. You might find that the sloppiness and missed notes fade away. Consistency and spaced repetition. 30 minutes or even 50 minutes a day is better than cramming all of your practice time in a 3-hour session in the weekend. Now this is the part that most people miss. Learning a skill doesn't happen while you practice, but it happens after, when your brain rewires everything you just did. During sleep or a state of deep rest, your brain replays the neural patterns from practice. That's why sometimes you can't play that tricky riff in the evening and suddenly the next morning you can. So a good night's sleep is important. Andrew also mentioned that ideally within 4 hours after practicing you take a 20-minute nap. But I know I can't, and I guess most of you don't have that luxury either. But even a deep rest protocol, like he calls it, where you sit quietly, no phone and just breathe, helps too. But this is the part that I was most interested in. Gap learning is where every couple of minutes of intense focus you pause. Take 10 seconds and do nothing. When you do this, studies have shown that your rate of learning increases. Because even during these short 10-second pauses, your brain replays what you just did at a high speed. So basically this short rest allows you to get more repetitions of practice in. The important thing was that these pauses were truly at random and not at a regular interval. So next time you're practicing a riff, play through a song, every now and then just stop. Stare at the wall or close your eyes and breathe, whatever works for you. Just do nothing for 10 seconds and then continue practicing. So to quickly recap, the best way to learn a skill is to focus, rest, focus, rest. Neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to form connections and learn a skill, involves a very strong trigger and then deep relaxation where the actual learning occurs. So get as focused as you can and then relax as deeply as you can. Show up consistently and put in the time, and take a 10-second pause every now and then when playing. Let me know if it helped. And remember that if you're struggling, that's perfectly normal and part of the learning process. Another quick technique to trick your brain and improve faster is by using slow practice. Watch this video next to see how you can use it.